Oh! Wow.
Welcome back to JR Pro Shop Vids. Jungo here. Today we have the new RST X3 from Roto Grip. Today Jungo is back comparing this new ball to the RST X1 and RST X2, the first two balls in this RST line. So this new RST X3 features the Microtrax hybrid cover stock, which is also the same cover stock that's on the RST X1. The difference? The RST X1 is 2 parts solid and 1 part pearl, where this new RST X3 is 2 parts pearl, 1 part solid. To summarize, the RST X3 has a bit more pearl and the RST X1 has a bit more solid in it. And of course, the RST X2 being a full pearl. So the expectations for the ball reaction, so with that being said, we expect this ball to hook a little bit more than the RST X1, and because of the finish, it should hook a bit earlier, especially because of the brighter colors. So with the RST X1 being sadly discontinued, will this RST X3 be the new replacement and even better than the RST X1? Stay tuned to find out. Today, Jung will be bowling on 44-foot titanium, a longer pattern, and he states that the X1 and X2 have been some of his best bowling balls that he uses on longer patterns. So, will this X3 do the same? We'll see. Special shout out to all of our JR Pro Shop members. Thank you so much for joining our community. If you want special perks such as early access to bids, some coaching, and some free merch, click the join button below. Guess what? We have a JR Pro Shop TikTok account. I'm running the TikTok, posting weekly, so make sure if you want to see some bloopers, behind the scenes, and some more fun content of the JR Pro Shop team, follow us at JR Pro Shop. Enough talking here. Let's see Jung throw these bowling balls.
Jungo's back. We finally got the X3 here. So we're gonna do a nice simple review, X3 versus the X2 versus the X1, see how they complement each other, or if you need all three, if you don't, whatever. I know the X1's discontinued, so is this gonna be a good replacement? We're gonna find out. Now, as discussed in the intro, this ball is 2 parts pearl and 1 part solid versus the X1, which was 2 parts solid, 1 part pearl. I think this ball will hook a little bit more, and the brighter colors I think will hook a little bit more too. So let's give it a shot. We're bowling on long because I think that's what suits these balls the best from my experience. We're gonna stand on 23 here and aim at 21 at the arrows. Nice and tight. Okay, really good shot up there off my hand. High flush. So I think I'm gonna move a board or 2 to the left. Ball comes off my hand pretty nice. I like the colors, even though I don't like bright colors that much. It's not too bright. I like these asymmetrical balls because when I throw it, I feel like it revs up nice and early, and continuation is really good down lane, where if I throw the gem or something really high-end, high-powered, I feel like I don't get anything on the ball. Like, it's very lopey, very slow. I think it's gotta be like the way the core rolls, the way the colors are, just suits your eye, you know? Gotta get something that suits your eye. All right, I moved 1 left there. Didn't throw it too great, tripped to 4, but that ball has a really nice early continuation roll, which is really good on the long, right? You don't want anything too snappy, you don't want anything too early, just because it'll be a little bit hard to control. Like, I think something like the Supernova on this would be a little bit too early. You're not gonna get that angle into the pins. And something like a symmetric pearl, like a Night Road or something, might go too long and a little bit too sharp. So the X3 here seems to be perfect. Okay, 1 more to the left. All right, that was 1 more to the left of the previous shot, and I think we found the right spot for that ball now. Picked up in the right spot in the lane. Went through the pins really nice. Let's throw the X1 now, which should be really close. Just from what I've seen, I think the X1 goes a little bit further down lane before it starts to hook. All right, same spot I just struck with the X3. Yeah, I think it just goes a pinch further down lane before it starts to hook, and I think that just has to do with the colors of the ball, right? Both balls are pretty new, same layout, same everything. So, all right, one more with the X1 on that same line. Yeah, really good shot there. Just a pinch to the right, and we wrapped a 10. Where I think the X3 would stand up a little better, go through the pins a little bit easier from that angle. So X3, a little bit stronger ball, I think. A little bit earlier rolling, a little bit stronger. Just a touch. Okay, down to the X2. Which is like my favorite asymmetrical pearl. Really good when the lanes are really burnt up and you have to move way left to create that angle down lane. Let's stand on the same spot, same line with the X2. It's gonna go much further, turn the corner much harder, just because of the cover stock. Yeah, really nice. You can see it covers about approximately the same amount of boards, just that hook was so late and so violent. It'll be really hard to control on a fresh oil pattern, but something that's been bowled on for a few games late in the tournament looks really good. So something that hooks harder in the back end like the X2, it's much easier to play on the inside portion of the lane, where like the X3, it'd be easier to play the outside portion of the lane just because it rolls earlier. So I'll throw it again, same shot. Wow, you see that? That was a deadly 4-9. Wasn't too bad of a shot though. I feel like I could have struck on that, but just how sharp the ball is, 4-9, not something you want to see on like a pretty decent shot. So right now, fresh condition, fresh long pattern. I think I'm using the X3. A little bit earlier rolling, a little bit more room for error.
But wait, G-Moose here in the middle of the vid, because we have a special announcement. We just hit 30,000 subscribers for JR Pro Shop. Thank you very much for everyone who subscribed to our channel, and we have a special giveaway. So make sure you're subscribed to our channel, comment down below on this video, and you can have the chance to win a 15-pound Storm Nova. Thank you so much to Storm, Jungo, mostly Storm, but thank you so much for donating this ball to give to our lovely subscribers. Stay tuned for the next video where we will announce who wins this lovely Storm Nova. Thank you very much. Now back to Jung.
Okay, now we know the difference between the three X balls. Let's change zones with the X3 here. Let's see what it can really do. So let's go 5 left and slow it down a little bit, and let's see if we can shape it down lane. Felt like that was pretty good off the hand, just didn't quite shape. A little rolly, a little smooth. Left like a half 10 there, so I think we're gonna have to slow it down a little bit more. Okay, same line, same everything. We'll just slow the speed down a touch. All right, we got the 10 out, but still wasn't a flush strike that we're looking for, right? We want that ball going through the 8-9. That one's just a little bit late, a little bit lazy, I think. So I think this will be a good time to go to the X2. I think the X2 is gonna work just because it does hook really hard in the back end. It's gonna be able to create that entry angle we're looking for. Ooh, pretty good shot. X2 just goes a little bit long, and the X3 is just a little bit lazy. So we're just too far left on this pattern right now, and that was just 5 boards left. So something like a long pattern, you really have to be in the right part of the lane, or else no ball is going to work. All right, so let's just bump 2 boards back to the right with the X2. I think it should be good from here. Yeah, there you go. Just a slight adjustment back to the right. The X2 is able to face up from further inside than the X3. As you're moving left, you definitely want to ball down to something that gets down the lane a little easier, like the X2 over the X3. All right, question time with Jungo with the X3. What is your favorite ball to use on long patterns? The X1, the X2, the X3. These balls have been my favorite to use on long, had lots of success. So what kind of line of balls do you like to use on long patterns? All right, so a lot on social media lately, I've been seeing the 5-arrow challenge. First arrow, second arrow, third arrow, etc. Get a strike from all 5. So let's do that with the X3. It is a long pattern, so not sure what the outside's gonna do. So let's give it a shot. Oh, there's one, baby. Come on, carry the 10. Carry the 10. All right, X3 done. Send it back to the shop.
Alright, Jungo's back from the lane, still in the brand new X3. Sorry for the late review on this. We were a little bit busy in the pro shop and I had a couple trips to go on. So sorry for the late review. The X3, I was really excited for this ball. The X1 and the X2 are a couple of my very favorite pieces that I bring everywhere. Mostly for long patterns though is where they get the most use. And sometimes I would use it on short and medium later in the day just because I feel like these asymmetrical balls go a little bit further down lane before they start to hook in general. Kind of compared to like the proton physics or some of the other big asymmetrical balls. So since the X1 is discontinued, I was kind of disappointed, and then I was really happy when the X3 came out and that it was almost the same ball. Right? We just had a little bit more pearl in this hybrid version than in the X1 and a little bit brighter color. So I was thinking that this ball might roll a little bit earlier and be a little bit smoother than the X1 and still be much earlier and more overall than the X2 here, which is your asymmetrical pearl that you would use later in the day. So this ball lived up to its expectations. Was a little bit earlier, a little bit smoother than the X1, and really good on the fresh long pattern, which the X1 was really going on as well, and complements the X2 extremely well. I can go right into the X2 if the X3 here is rolling a little bit too early, leaving a couple 10 pins on the long pattern. I think overall, if you have an X1 and you really like it and it needs to be replaced lots of games, the X3 is probably the place to go. Another thing that I noticed with these X line is that it's not as much ball as like a proton physics or a supernova or a reality. It's just like one tiny step down from those asymmetrical balls and kind of above your symmetric tanks like the Axiom, Idol Helios, and balls like that. So it kind of gives you a nice little bridge gap there between your big symmetric balls and your high-end asymmetric balls. So that's why I feel like these balls can get a lot of use. So with that being said, my X1 is pretty new. I just drilled it recently, maybe a couple weeks ago. So if this was getting worn out, I would definitely just throw the X3. Very similar bowling balls, and I think you can make them really, really close and not really notice the difference at all if you just knock the dullness off the X3 a little bit, maybe put a little bit of compound, throw with 4000 grit or something like that, just to take a little bit of the dull off. You can really get close to what the X1 was. So just a very simple review we did today, just X1, X2, X3. My next tournament that I'm gonna go to, I'll probably just bring the X3, just a newer, fresher, updated version of the X1. I like using newer balls when I go to tournaments because that fresh cover stock is really an advantage, right, when you're bowling tourneys. As you know, the older the balls get, a little performance gets lost over time. So I like to stick with the brand new stuff if I can, as long as the reactions are the same and what I like to see. For all of you out there that are able to get new balls consistently, I would suggest doing that, staying with fresh new balls with fresh covers. It just seems to have that little extra bite at the end and kick with that 10 pin a little bit more, trip the extra 4, you know. One of those can make the difference between making the cut, not making the cut, making the ladder, whatever, right? So for me, I like to have a couple fresh covers in my bag always. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget my question down below. What is your favorite ball to use on a long pattern? Mine was definitely the X1 and the X2, and now the X3. So let me know down in the comments. We read them all. Thanks to all the members. We love watching your videos, helping you get better, helping you improve, answering your questions. We got something really exciting on deck. It's not quite finished yet, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we got something really cool coming out. Thanks again. See you in the next vid.
Carry the 10.